Good morning and welcome to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is from the therapy room, the one and only Geraldine Tan. Good morning.
Morning. And I'm in somber colors. I'm in black.
Oh,
But then again, because of what you have around your neck there, you remind me of Cinderella this morning.
It's a little pearl inside. It's a birthday gift from one of this my colleagues.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's very pretty.
Very pretty.
So nice. Oh wait, you just celebrated your birthday, is it?
Yes, not too long ago.
Right?
Yes.
A few weeks ago.
A few weeks ago.
Beginning of
Yes.
July, yes.
Beginning of July. Okay.
You sang the birthday song and then you
Remember?
forgot.
That's right.
Forgot.
We,
Oh, cry.
we sing everybody a birthday song.
No,
right?
I'll
So-
never forget, Jerry's birthday.
During the first week of July. It started already.
So, Dr. Jerry, today you say you're in somber colors. Why is that?
Yes, I think I wanted to pick up on last week's events, because it really just shook Singapore completely. I think it really affected me a lot, and I think you would hear many stories of your friends, how it affected them. I think it struck me very hard. The news came halfway through the day on Monday, and then I had the mother support group in the evening. Yeah, so I was, privileged to go through the mother's journey of losing their sons. So by the end of the day, it was I was completely gone.
So
Right,
the
I'm
mother
sure.
support group was specifically for those that had lost children?
That's Healing Hearts.
Okay.
It runs every month. It's free. And it's for mothers only who have lost children to suicide.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
for the
okay.
people who don't know what we're talking about, we are talking about the River Valley High incident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Dr. Jerry is referring to.
Yes, yeah.
It was such an interesting situation. I felt terribly guilty because when I read the report, my one thought was, what has life come to? That children of that age think in such violent terms.
Yeah. I think there's some people who are listening to us and watching us from abroad who may not know the background to the story. Just very quickly,
Brief, yeah.
At River Valley High School here in Singapore, there was an incident in which a 16-year-old boy,
Attacked.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're still saying alleged.
Yeah.
Well, they have to.
Yeah, because it's not proven yet.
Trial's
So,
not over,
allegedly attacked a younger 13-year-old boy
With an axe and
in
took
the
his life.
toilets. Yeah,
And took
Yeah.
his life,
yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, that's
just
the
need
brief,
to
yeah.
establish that.
Yeah.
Because there are some people who avoid, the news,
news,
and
yeah,
may not know,
absolutely. Yeah.
what happened.
I mean, when I first saw it, I was much like FD. I don't think I felt guilt. I felt just very, 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 very affected by it. Like, what would bring someone of that age to do something like that, to anyone?
My guilt was because I didn't feel sorrow. I felt anger. I felt anger that children are open to so much violence today that it has become part of their life. And that's why I felt guilty. I didn't feel it. My initial feeling was not sorrow for the families, sorrow for the poor child that lost his life. It was anger. It was anger at society.
This is interesting, Jerry. Okay, so let us go through our emotions with you. So that's what FD felt. How did you feel, Angel?
I was very sad. I was sad for both families. The boy who lost his life as well as the boy who allegedly took it.
Okay.
What would be going through the minds of both at the moment, and then during the moments that it happened. I can't imagine what it would have been. So I was very sad. I was
Okay.
very sad. I cried when I read I cried everything, but I did cry when I read the article. And as it was unfolding, it was just like, this stuff does not happen in Singapore.
Right. So far, natural feelings, Jerry, from everyone. Shaun?
Everyone is normal. Yes.
Shaun?
Sad also for the victim especially, because I think if I read correctly, he didn't know
No,
the
the boy, yeah.
the other guy or anything.
Yeah.
He just walked into the restroom and just
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah.
For me, I was shocked actually that a life was taken. Because back when I was in school, when we used to fight in the septic tanks, and we used to fight at Jackie's Bowl in Katong and all that. Sometimes with baseball, one or two will bring parangs and all that. We always say, okay, just whack the legs, don't we don't want to kill anyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Boundaries.
So it's more to hurt.
yes,
Yeah.
and more to scare people off, that kind of thing. We knew where to hit.
Yeah.
But for something like this to happen,
Yeah.
wow, it really blew my mind.
It's an evolution, I think, Jerry. If you listen to what Glenn is saying, right? Glenn was baseball bats and stuff like that. In my day, when we fought fisticuffs.
Okay.
Your hands.
Bare hands.
Your bare hands.
Your bare hands,
yeah.
right? It was fisticuff fighting. It was almost gentlemanly.
Yeah.
There were rules and
Boundaries.
there were boundaries.
It's like you don't bring a gun to a knife
And it,
fight,
it
right?
just
That's what
it
they
just
say.
seems to be going downhill
Yeah.
and getting worse and worse and worse with each generation, and that is that's what's got me angry. Nothing's being done to stop this slide.
But Jerry, can I just say this? I mean, this particular boy, this 16-year-old boy, has had a history of mental illness, right? Why is it more and more people are coming down with mental illness these days as compared to back in the day?
Okay, so first, boys, can we remember not to fight?
It's a boy thing. It's a boy thing.
I think I don't care whether it's fist fights or baseball bat fights. I think fighting is just not good. Period, right? A little bit of my opinion on the boy, the Sec 4 boy, right? He has a disorder, and I think, we should not speculate, we should not try and guess, but I think with mental health issues, they are not in control. Okay, so we should not think also that everyone with mental health issues have a violent tendency. No, we should not. But to Glenn's question, why are more and more people having mental health issues? Think about the whole pandemic as being a prison cell. And a prison with nowhere to go. And our students are still required to perform up to whatever expectations there are. They have no letting up. They are not permitted to make mistakes. They are still required to perform and get their A's. They are still asked to go back to school, to adapt to whether it is online, not online, and it is so frustrating for them because the way that things are being taught now is so confusing. But nobody ever kind of sits down and processes things with them. They're just expected to do. There's no break.
All right. Okay, Jerry, let's continue this conversation live on The Big Show TV. Meantime, here's...
Yeah, Jerry, you were saying, the first thing that came to my mind as well when it happened, I'm not speculating, when I heard that someone did something to somebody else, was that perhaps a person could have been going through a lot as well, like, at home, in school. Parents could have lost a job. Parents could be getting a divorce. A pet could have been lost. Something to trigger an action and reaction to something like that. But also, this particular boy had suicidal tendencies. Right, he tried to commit suicide, I think, some years ago.
Couple of years ago.
So, not in relation to him in particular. If someone has suicidal tendencies, are they not put under extra special watch?
Again, we don't know what is his level of care. He probably is.
Okay.
Yes, but many times if they plan something, if it is on impulse, it is very difficult for us to catch. Yeah, so that brings me to, the emotions again. So all your emotions are definitely valid. I think I don't hear anger, not only anger from FD, but that all that underlying regretfulness of the society. What has the society come to? I was scared. I was really scared. So the first thing that hit me is, my son is in a secondary school. I send him to school every morning. So for the next few mornings when I sent him, I was like, am I going to get my son back?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was a very real fear. And then I would tell the kids, if you see anyone with anger management issues, can you please tell your school counselor? And of course my naughty kids, so the Coco went, oh yeah, I know someone. He pointed to the sister and say, Mimi. I was like, I'm gonna take it. I'm glad that you are still here fighting. That's fine. I will take it. Yeah. And scared for the therapist, the healthcare provider of the Sec 4 boy, because I don't know whose head is going to roll, whether they are going to be blamed for negligence, and how guilty the healthcare. So I resonated with that. And then scared for the teachers. And perhaps we can go into that later on. Scared for the teachers because they didn't ask for this to happen, but they are going to have fingers pointed at them. But they are going to have to still hold the fort. They are still going to have to teach their classes. Amazing teachers, all of them.
I don't understand why they kept the school open 2 days later. Why didn't they just switch everyone to home-based learning? Can you imagine 13-year-old kids going back to school after something like that happened? I know there was a day break, but a day is barely anything, right? Why didn't they just switch to home-based learning?
We cannot understand every single person, but if I were to use the more psychological explanation, is so that we go back to that space and not avoid the space.
But I mean, the kids are so young, though.
Yeah, so there's no right way to do anything, really. Yeah. But it's so strange that 2-3 weeks ago we spoke about PTSD, and this has to happen.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about it again. So the avoidance, the hypervigilance, the anxiety, those are some things that the students, the teachers would be going through.
But of course, I mean, today's session here with you, Jerry, is not to analyze the situation at River Valley High School or the kid that jumped from what was it, the 10th floor or something like that? Fourth floor. Right. It's mainly today's session is to teach people how they can cope with a traumatic incident, something that they've experienced. Right. It could be death in the family.
Yeah.
That may be traumatic, to some people in a big way.
Yeah.
And how do we cope with that?
How do we cope
Right,
with
Jerry?
Yeah, so a trauma can be caused by many different things. It's that emotional response to an unexpected happening. So it can be a robbery, it can be rape, it can be an accident that you witness. And I think there is a lot of care for the victim and the children that are involved. I actually want to look at secondary trauma stress, not secondary school trauma.
Okay.
Shaun read it as secondary school. No, secondary trauma and vicarious trauma and burnout.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is secondary trauma?
Yeah, I was about to ask.
Secondary trauma is when you have to keep hearing this story over and over again, having to hold space for them. You're exposed to the trauma. Yeah, but you're not directly involved.
So someone like you live with or something like that, or a best friend.
Yeah, so it can be the friend. it can be the teachers who have to hear the story over and over, but not directly involved, but have to hear what the students say, have to relive it over and over again because someone is telling them. The healthcare professionals that have to hear the story over and over again.
Okay, hold on, Jerry. We'll go on air and we'll talk about this once again, okay? Yeah. Good morning and welcome back to The Big Show. Speaking of Camila Cabello, we have our very own Camila Cabello. Dr. Geraldine Tan. From the therapy room.
Whoa!
And we're talking about managing trauma, actually. Many people have gone through some form of trauma. And, how complex is this, Jerry? Because, everyone is different, right? People are expected to get over a traumatic experience just like that. Some people can, some people never do. They live with it their entire lives. So how complex is this situation of managing trauma?
It's so difficult. I think we must. I need to put the base there. Our brains are very resilient. We are very resilient. Many people will have resources within themselves to deal with many situations. It is only because sometimes it displaces us so much, that it's very difficult to bounce back. And some of them have prior experiences. Okay, so some of the other, teachers, students, they had experiences before, and it re-triggers them. Now that becomes quite troublesome. So they are re-triggered. We do know some of the many of the schools are now on guard. They are looking out for students that have been bullied before, that are bullies, because the bullet is now going to fight back. I'm not going to lose my life. It's time for me to survive. It is really a matter of survival now, right? Some of them are copycat behaviors. Right? I'm so frustrated. I don't know what to do. So I borrow this method that is being used. Whether it is used as a threat, whether he really carry out or not, I don't think we should take it lightly. So there are all these thoughts in their head, and everybody experiences the trauma differently. And we on the sidelines may not be directly involved, but there are different associations, there are different things that we might resonate with the incident, and we would feel a lot for the situation, different parts of the situation.
Yeah. And I was also thinking about, for some people, right, they go through so many traumatic experiences in their lives.
Yep.
Some people never do.
Yeah.
But that's life for you, right?
True.
Yeah, but
it's like, does it make you stronger or does it break you?
Well, sometimes it doesn't make you stronger. It doesn't break you. You take myself, for example. When my brother passed a couple of years ago, very traumatic experience for me because of decisions we had to make. And I live with that every day now. I live with it when I hear that a family member is sick and going into hospital. It all comes back.
Yeah.
And it's this recurring fear.
Yeah.
And there's just I just live with it.
Does that equip you to be better when you have to face that situation again?
No, not at all.
I think it all begins with if you're talking about death in the family, right?
Yeah.
The closest person in your family, the first person to pass on.
Yeah.
You feel something.
Yeah.
Like I lost my father on New Year's Day this year. I didn't tell anybody about it. Only a handful of people know.
Yeah.
I came to work. I didn't take leave. Didn't take compassionate leave. But he passed on the 1st of January.
That's right.
And it was the first time I experienced, something that's so painful.
Yeah.
First time. And I expected to get over it in a week. I wanted myself to just get over the death of my dad, but I couldn't. And even till today, I still feel it.
Yeah.
And I'm still telling myself, get over it. Because I don't want to feel the way I'm feeling. It comes and it goes, you know what I mean? And sometimes at night I feel like I'm not sleeping as well as I used to as a result of that. I think it's playing it's in my subconscious as well.
Jerry, is that the right
That's
thing?
why I say I need to see you, Jerry.
No, is that the right thing to do, this whole, or just get over it?
No, and then you start thinking, right? Okay, this is my father. And then, you're thinking like, okay, I've got other
Close
members of the
family
family.
members,
Yeah.
And you're thinking about that, you're dreading it. And all of a sudden you're thinking about death all the time.
Yeah.
And then it just starts to get at you.
Yeah.
I mean, for people who have not experienced this, right, you will not know what I'm talking about. Just
Yeah.
like I never knew what others were going through at
Yeah.
that time until I experienced it for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is a very hard thing to deal with.
Very.
I mean, I hear both of them speaking, and I, knock on wood, have not lost anyone as close as that to me ever.
Yeah.
And I cannot imagine how it must feel. And I don't know. I'm sitting here looking at Glenn and saying he doesn't have to get over it, right? I mean, he can mourn for as long as his emotions want to, right?
It's your father, Glenn, and I really thank you for sharing it so publicly today. The ache that you feel is such a deep ache. I feel it too. So big love, big hugs. Thank you so much for sharing. And just by sharing, I think it is so valuable because all of us are now supporting you. And your father is your father for a lifetime. What is this talk about? Getting over it,
Yeah.
No, and it's, since we're on air, let's say that we love our moms and dads. I'm gonna shout out and say I love you, mom and dad.
And Glenn Ong has
Love
made
you,
me cry
Mom.
on air.
No, but Jerry, I like what you just did, because I'm a firm believer that in Singapore today, not enough people tell
Their stories.
tell people that are important to them that they love them.
Yeah, that's true.
It is not part of our DNA.
Not.
Yeah.
It's not.
And
I'm
we
glad I
need-
always did.
Yeah, we
I always
need
did,
to
though.
do that. We need to tell people that we love them.
Yes.
It's important.
And not just through words, through actions as well.
Actions,
Whether
whatever.
it's a hug or, a kiss on the cheek
Yeah.
or anything. Not
However.
enough people are touchy-feely in that way with family members.
Yeah.
And I hope that, with us sharing this, more people will call parents and siblings and cousins and whatnot and say, hi, how are you? And, it's been a while since we spoke.
Or at least say I love you.
Let's
Yeah.
call today I Love You Day.
Okay.
Call someone today and tell them you love them.
Yes.
Let's do that.
Brilliant. Yes.
Do that.
Let's
yes.
do that.
Yes.
And
Do,
tell
do we have
te-
the Stevie Wonder song right now? I just called to say I love you.
I love you.
And once you do, tell us who you called. You can always send a WhatsApp through, and you can even send a message through to our WhatsApp. If you're not that sort of person who wants to say I love you in person, we can say I love you on your behalf. It's 88550913.
All right, we are speaking to Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room this morning. We'll continue to talk to her live on The Big Show TV. In the meantime, here's Stevie Wonder with I Just Called to Say I Love You on The Big Show, 1FM 91.3.
Was that a coincidence? Plan. I mean, did you switch the songs?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, just for that.
Yeah, so that's why
So-
I'm saying some people
Yeah,
never
I
get
think it's
over
so
it.
important. Really, really important to say I love you. And I'm so glad that you did, that you keep doing it.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that my friend, texted me a couple of days later, she was saying, and I didn't get her permission to share, but I'm sure she will forgive me. Her son actually opened up a pair of AirPods. I think it was AirPods that she wanted to sell on Carousel. Okay, so this is a teen son, yeah? And then she was ready to just scold him and give it to him. And then the news broke on Monday, right? So that was all in a day, right? Morning, she realized, oh, I can't sell it now. You've opened my box, you've ruined it. And then in the evening, when he came back, because of that news, she just held him. Yeah. And I think it's a huge reminder. And I know many parents who then listen to their children who then said, I can't manage the Friday. I think it was Thursday or Friday. Students were saying, I can't do this anymore. Not in the affected schools, but in other schools. And parents were listening to their children, which I thought was awesome. One day off is not going to do any harm to your child.
Yeah. Now, I was just thinking, I was about to ask you that. Now, with what happened, should parents now be bringing this subject up and talking it through with their kids?
Yes, so I've encouraged all parents to do that, to communicate, to talk openly about it, because if we don't, our brain takes over, we start to fantasize, we start to speculate. So we don't want to do that, we don't want to put the blame on anyone. We don't want to say that this caused it, or because there are lots of stories going around, and children are extremely impressionable.
Yeah.
We don't want more hate crime to surface also. So parents should talk to the children about it. Yeah.
It's we just got a message in from somebody saying, "Hi, Angel. I just called my hubby Kelvin Sue, who's driving right now. And before I could say I love you to him, he said it to me first because he's also listening in to 1FM 91.3.
Awesome.
So that's our first message in.
Wonderful. And I think, for the teachers out there, or for whoever that has someone that, you have a family member that is a teacher, that is a principal, please tell them that they are doing such a wonderful job. Yeah, because I cannot imagine the amount of stress now that the teachers have to go through, because they are on alert. They are, having to give a lot of answers. Principals have to hold the fort for every single school. So every principal is going through a lot. And they have no one to go to. So they will have to listen to each and every one of the teachers, of what they are going through, and hold the space for them.
Yeah. What advice do you have for these people who might feel like they need to talk to someone? I mean, they should definitely seek help, right? They should see a psychologist, a psychiatrist. There's no shame in that.
No, absolutely not.
I think if they feel they need to talk to someone, they should.
Yeah, so our hospitals are fantastic. I think CGH, NUH, if I'm not wrong, SGH have trauma-informed care therapist. So you can go to them. Some of the family service centers, and most of us can help you with the trauma work. Yeah, I think I remember one of the police. So we don't really hear this. So I'm going to share this because the police actually have a lot of trauma when they do their work.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Right?
Jerry, I met someone the other day. I was telling them this. I didn't do it on air. I was telling the guys off air. He was a policeman. He's now a financial consultant. He was a policeman. He gave up the police force because he was beginning to not feel. He had seen so much violence and so much hurt that he was becoming...
Harry Callahan, Dirty Harry.
Yeah, no, he was just becoming immune to the...
Numb.
He was becoming numb. And lucky he realized it, and he actually left the police force.
Numb as in he was being... he was emotionless.
Emotionless.
As in
no empathy. No more empathy.
No compassion.
There was no compassion.
So kind of numb to all of that.
Numb to everything that was happening to him. So he said, no, this is not the way I'm going to live my life. And he got out. He had to get out. He felt he had to get out.
Speaking of trauma, I'll bring this up because I did something on social media last week to bring awareness to mental wellness, as well as people who have been affected by any sort of trauma. And there's this new sort of circle that's been formed called Safe Circle. You can find out more at safecircle.sg. And basically, it comprises 7 organizations that have come together to create more awareness and knowledge of mental health within the community. So what they do is they offer complementary programs that give the people who participate the knowledge of trauma and how to apply the principles of care into one's life and one's work.
Okay.
So the 7 agencies involved are Asset, Boys Town, Campus, Caregivers Alliance, as well as Limitless, Singapore Association for Mental Health, and Singapore Children's Society. So if you need help, you can also go to safecircle.sg to find out how you can get involved and how you can learn more and create more awareness about mental health as well.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So wonderful. Yeah. Because when the teams come in together, all the partners come in, it becomes a very holistic, way forward.
Yeah,
Right.
it does. Yeah.
Hey, by the way, Jerry, I saw you on the big story, yeah? Yeah, you were speaking to Haryanto, right? Was it a few
it
weeks
was
ago?
quite funny. Last week, was it the week before? Yeah, I think it was the week before. Yeah.
And this was about the River Valley High School incident.
Oh,
was it?
then that was last week.
Yeah,
then.
last week.
Yeah. Then it was last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jerry, I want to go back. I'm going to sound terribly old-fashioned. I want to go back to something you brought up earlier. Copycat behavior.
Yep.
When we see this violence that causes trauma in children, is it, or no, could it be, I'm trying to say this politically correctly, could it be because in today's world, they are just exposed to so much violence wherever they turn? Games, television, movies,
Social media,
wherever they turn, they are exposed to violence.
I tell you, it's that electronic game. It's that video game, Grand Theft Auto.
Not just that. There's Call of Duty. There's all sorts.
Is that? I mean, from a therapist's point of view, have you seen any connection between the two?
Okay. First up, the boy has a disorder. So gaming or otherwise, he's not in control of his behavior. But many parents have asked this, whether, the aggression from the games will translate to aggression outside.
Yeah.
Now, many of us watch action movie, but we do not, carry out all the different weird martial art moves and things like that.
Yeah.
We know the difference between reality and fantasy. But there are some times that children are not taught that. So reality and fantasies, the line gets a bit blurred.
Okay,
Yeah.
hold on.
I've got-
We'll do a traffic update and we'll come
can do
back.
And I've got a
Yeah.
question for you when we come back.
Yeah, ask Jerry that same question.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Good morning. You're tuned into The Big Show and The Big Show TV. It's Glenn, Angel, FD, and Shaun. We certainly hope you're enjoying today's session. It is a therapy session with Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room.
To a certain extent, it's
Yeah,
therapy for
I look
us as
forward
well.
to Tuesdays all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
Very
trying
true.
to get something in, trying to get
Yeah.
Jerry to
Put you on
to
her
listen to
couch?
me. Yes.
No, she's already said she can't.
She told you multiple times.
So Jerry, here's my question. When we see trauma, this is especially I feel with teenagers, we see trauma caused by violence. Is it because wherever these kids turn today, whether it is social media, the movies, television, whatever, they are exposed to violence? Is there a correlation?
Well, okay, if we look strictly at just numbers, okay, if the numbers show that there is a correlation. However, I think if we look deeper than that, if we can teach the children what is reality and what is fantasy, and the lines are not blurred, that would help them a lot. So they can play and play in moderation. So that's another topic that I want parents to talk to the children about, to play in moderation and not get consumed by the game itself. Yeah, so then the chances of the child getting lost in that whole violent behavior is lessened.
Yeah, because I see it, when I see young kids play today, somewhere along the line, in every game, someone's kicking someone or pretending to kick someone or pretending to punch someone. It always seems to break down into violence.
Yep. They need to make more shows that they use words to banter and debate. It's really missing. Missing from many shows actually nowadays.
Less violence, right? And more
Less
more
physical
language,
violence, yeah.
One of
But it never used to be a problem before.
This is the thing. And I can actually pinpoint it.
I used to watch all the Jackie Chan movies when I was a kid.
And
the
we weren't like that. We weren't like
the
that.
Shaolin Kung Fu
Yeah.
movies,
I saw the change, I'll be honest, because I've done a lot of thinking about this. I saw the change with the popularity, believe this or not, of Power Rangers. That's when it all started.
To go downhill.
When kids started to get a game was fighting.
Those darn Power Rangers, man.
It started at that time. That's to me.
Really?
I think
in my
I
mind.
just think it's the overexposure of information and communication. Whether it's the news, whether it's social media, whether it's TikTok challenges, music as well. There's a lot of violence in music as well if you listen to the lyrics. So I think it's the over information of all that, and it's what kids or even people pick up on that we're drowning in it. So I think kids find it hard to blur those lines, and sort of make a stand as to which is fantasy and which is reality.
Yeah, but I don't think we should just blame the media, or blame the songs, because it's been around for a very, very long time. Like hard rock has been around for a really long
Heavy
time.
metal and everything else.
Heavy metal, not hard rock. Yeah.
You see,
Heavy metal.
I think we're just looking for people to blame.
Yeah.
Maybe we are.
Maybe we are. Yeah.
Maybe we are.
I want to ask Jillian. Jillian, hi. But
Hi, morning.
how did you feel last week with all the news that was happening?
Oh, okay. To be honest, I felt really sad. As a parent, I could feel the pain, genuine pain, both from the victims' parents' point of view as well as the perpetrator's parents' point of view. There was real fear, and there was genuine pain. As a parent, I don't think I would ever have felt like this before. It would have just been another juicy news for me in the past. But now when I read it, I can actually feel a lot of sadness in it. But I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I felt physically horrible last week because I went for my second dose and I had 40 degrees for like 3 days straight. So I don't think I had enough time to process everything properly and really feel. But in all honesty, I did feel something that was never there before I became a parent.
Okay.
Yeah. Could be the fear of allowing your kids to go to school and not knowing what may happen.
Yes.
That it could happen
Yeah,
to
a
you.
bit scary.
That it could happen
Yeah.
to you.
I just realized that all the parents on screen here are wearing dark colors.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Which one of these things are not the same?
I'm quite sure it's a coincidence. Well, thank you so much, Jerry, for joining us once again. I'm sure you've got something to leave us with.
I do, and this one I was gonna dedicate it to everyone, but now I'm gonna specifically dedicate it to you. Death leaves a heartache no one can heal. Love leaves a memory no one can steal.
Nice.
Yes.
Thank you, Jerry.
Well,
Thank you
Lovely,
so much.
lovely.
Thank
Okay,
you.
I'll see all of you next week then.
Yes.
All right.
Have a
Okay.
good one, Jerry.
Bye, Jerry.
Bye.
Be safe.